Again?
Again.
We're going to stage 3?
We're going to stage 3
Oh.
upgrades.
The door jambs, the A pillars, the B pillars, and the roof is the most important part. But today, let's have a little fun. I want to talk to the students.
Jeez. You.
Yeah.
There, Michael. What's your favorite jank fix, maximum jank?
So I took my 924S off-roading in Virginia.
All the work that I had done 2 years ago.
Oh, behold! Maximum jank.
Yeah.
What's up, people, and welcome back to the Fast and Furious Live Lykan Hypersport build at Genius Garage, which is going on really well. We're going to check it out. Also today, we're going to see the other students going on in the rest of the building, the projects they're doing that relate to not only the ancillary or like smaller items of this build, as well as some of the other fun things. You guys might notice that our IMSA tube frame, Reagan's chassis Corvette, is back. So some of the guys are prepping that because everybody would like to do a race or two this summer. That is if they're not all canceled. So a little bit of fun on the side while they have some time on the Lykan build. Myself, little teaser, I've got a crazy project most likely coming up in July because the students are doing so well building their Lykan Hypersport. I kind of want to show them up, so just a little teaser. But anyway, I'm getting done with some projects of mine so I can get them out of here and we can have nothing but cool Genius Garage stuff going on. But let's check out the Lykan and see the progress. So obviously you guys have seen some of these body panels fitted on it before, and they fit generally quite nicely. The most important part with regard to integrating the composite Lykan Hypersport bodywork that obviously came from the W Motors molds to build the stunt cars, we have to integrate that to the chassis pan and the structure that we're building that uses Porsche basis. Now, the center part, being the rocker panels, the door jambs, the A pillars, the B pillars, and the roof, is the most important part because it has to fit perfectly in space where it needs to on the initial part of the chassis, but also if you come down here and look up, you can see that the guys are hand bending roll structure to go here that not only supports that, but makes the chassis more structurally integral for torsion, as well as any kind of roll support if in fact the car were ever to be wrecked theoretically. Now you just saw it, it's got the basic box structure in with the A pillars and the rollover hoop here, but it's not finished. There has to be triangulation, but if you come over here and look at the top, you can see that in the design of the car, and this is where the art of the car comes into play and makes for nightmares for engineers. We've got this V-shaped window. So naturally, if you were going to have a structure here of your roll structure, you would want to either exit like this ideally or have one, so you create triangles. But in doing that, not only would you potentially decrease the headroom, but you'd cover up the window. So what we have to do is figure out how can we design this with proper triangles and be very strong without covering the windows. So now the guys are working on that and seeing how that will integrate to the whole design. And then of course, if you look back here, why don't you come over here? We'll take a peek. You can see the roll structure initially here comes down and has to meet down here. So there has to be chassis fabrication going on with cut out pieces of steel, all welded to make the nice platform. And then also it's even structured and buttressed on the inside, what you can't even see. Now this roll structure here, we've chosen to go underneath these vents. So the tubing here actually rolls and creates arches, so it gets you the head clearance as close to the roof as possible. So there will be more structure above that for any of you out there that are watching that are building roll cages. But today, let's have a little fun. I want to talk to the students.
Jeez.
The honey badger, make some noise. We're going to talk to the students and see something like this is an awesome build that requires a heck of a lot of brain power and engineering thinking, process thinking, and obviously teamwork with a lot of systems that have to come together. And doing that with the logistics of what facility do we have and abilities to create, as well as the budget. So that comes into all the real world aspects that is the most important thing for young engineers in school to learn before they go out in the real world. So today, we are going to talk about them. What is the jankiest but best fix they've ever done in the past, which we like to call maximum jank. And I'll show you my favorite maximum jank fix. So we got a couple of guys here. We got Tyler, boom, you guys remember the honey badger, and Michael. He is new. He got quarantined for a while coming in. So what are you working on?
We're working on, yet again, modifying our good old tube bender to...
You broke it?
No, we didn't break it. We're just upgrading it.
Again?
Again.
We're going to stage 3?
We're going to stage 3 upgrades, yeah. So we're upgrading it again in order to bend the rest of the pipe to do the window structure.
Wait, so this isn't an upgrade of power. This is an upgrade of precision.
Yes.
Let's see what it is. What do you got to do?
We gotta wallow out the die just a little bit in order to make our larger, more precise, and stronger trailer pin fit into the die.
I think we're going to need another building with machine tools in it, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, or you could just do it by hand really nicely.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Hand built. Only
So-
the best hand built precision.
This is the newest FNG. How's he doing so far? This is his like first day out of quarantine.
He does a good job at sweeping the floors. No, I'm just kidding. He's been awesome. He's been awesome. Yeah, no, he's been really, really helpful.
You guys are friends because he drives a 924S and you have a 944.
Yes.
And then you brought your Mustang and makes
I
him
used
want
to
to
have
have
a
a
Mustang. Yep, that works.
Okay, so Tyler, in your life in the past, what was your favorite jank fix that was maximum jank?
My favorite jank fix probably has to be RTV head gaskets on a Kubota tractor.
Did that work?
It did work, actually.
For how long?
Enough to get it out of the field.
Okay, so that's something.
So, you know, they were the old type that you could just pull the head pretty much straight
Maximum
off
jank.
the top. Yeah.
You could have used cardboard.
Probably could have.
That'd have been
Yeah. I don't think that would have.
equally jank.
I don't think that would have held compression for very long. But
By the way, for everybody watching, we do not do fixes like this on
Not
the
on the
Lykan.
car.
No.
This is for fun because we are
Stunt.
trying to relate to all of you out there, young people who are aspiring that maybe you have your favorite jank fix that want to one day design and build hypercars and race cars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not actually losers. You,
Yeah.
there, Michael, what's your favorite jank fix, maximum jank?
So I took my 924S off-roading in Virginia, and
As you do.
as you do, with,
As you
with the
do.
Porsche, yeah, with the proper front engine, and the
Where
CV
God and Henry Ford intended it to be.
exactly, exactly.
Okay, so what'd you do?
So the CV axle was making a ton of noise and was about to blow
Oh, I know
out.
where this is
So because the boot was torn, and I made a boot with a bottle of Molly grease and then duct
A whole
tape.
bottle.
I used about half of it
How long
just-
did that grease stay in your duct tape CV boot?
until I changed it 1,500 miles later, and it
It's a
never
long
made it
time.
click again. Never clicked. Never made a problem.
Maybe I am camera guy Lois. I'm rethinking this segment called Maximum Jank. Okay, what's the least jank and best thing you ever designed? The Lykan?
yeah, working on the Lykan.
How is this not jank? Why is it that we're doing a good
Because
job?
we have spent a lot of time on making sure that everything is perfect and where it needs to be.
From
That's probably-
fabrication to engineering, everything.
Yes, everything on this is the highest caliber work that we can do.
I agree.
Yes.
And just because we're silly and having fun doesn't mean
Yeah.
we are in fact jank.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Let's see who can top the duct tape Molly Grease CV boot or the RTV head gasket. I don't know if I can top that. Mine's coming last. Oh, it's twin cam. We've got one hand cam with a C, and this is two hand cam spelled with a K. So what are you working on?
Right now we got the steering rack for our yellow Corvette.
Corvettes.
That we are now reassembling after having disassembled everything. Slave cylinder.
Wait, why are we
and the
working
rack.
on it?
Well, this thing was puking fluid everywhere, specifically
Yeah,
the
it blew
slave
up.
cylinder out of a seal that goes right here. You have hydraulic fluid in there. This is appears to be like a steering dampener.
No, that's your
damper.
boost. That's your.
Because the boost should come from the
Negative.
servo and the pump. No,
No.
really. So this is a boost. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of curious as to how this.
Here's it works.
this does.
It gets its control signals from here, whether it's left or right, and how much, and then it boosts it with this.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sorry,
That's
buddy.
good to know.
It does dampen, but it does it actively.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just
okay. So now that
Estimating.
so I hate to ask this question. Since you didn't know what that was, how do we know you rebuilt it right?
Because we actually came with instructions. believe
Oh,
it or not.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta
Well, a
learn. This
diagram.
is your
A
first
diagram.
time,
I shouldn't
right?
say instructions.
This is
came
your
with a
first
diagram.
time,
Yeah.
and we're going to test this car in June, at speed at the track, and race it.
Yes. That's the
So
goal.
anybody that thinks you don't know what you're doing can just jump in the lake when it's on the winner's circle, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Everybody has to have a first. Okay. And you're helping. You're working on this too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We're working
I
on
just
this.
stole his thunder. Were you cringing when he said that's a dampener?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, that's okay. So, all right.
We were guessing.
What
afraid
is
to be wrong.
your favorite janky fix from your past in life that can be called maximum jank?
Thinking about it, helping my friend swap. He had a blown up motor in his Honda. We were swapping it in his apartment's parking lot, which we weren't technically supposed to be doing at night. and we essentially were missing nuts for the motor mounts.
Okay.
There's studs, and we were missing the nuts, but we found out that his lug nuts threaded perfectly onto it, and we only needed 4, so we proceeded to take a lug nut off of each wheel
What kind of
and
car was
thread them
this?
on. This is a Honda Civic.
And it only had 4 lug nuts anyway.
Yeah, but it was just enough to get him to school the next day, and then
I like that.
day, you know,
That's resource. They
Yeah,
don't
get
need
them
all
to
4 of them to
AutoZone
get
and
to
everything.
school.
Yeah, it was down the street.
Maximum jank.
Yeah.
Oh, you sir, I think I know your story.
Yeah, you do.
Uh-huh. So what's your favorite jank fix that can be called maximum jank?
So, during my time in the Army, when I was a wee little private, we were on a field exercise, and the fuelers called us up and said that one of their fuelers broke down and that they couldn't move it. or
Big truck,
whatever.
huh?
Yeah, big truck.
Big truck.
And so we get out there, and since I'm the newest, I get sent under the big muddy truck with all the mud underneath it. And I look up and I see this big spider valve, because it's all pneumatic system for the brakes. And it broke off of its mounts and was hanging and rubbing against the drive axle.
Ooh.
And so
It's
it
hanging
had,
by the pneumatic lines, huh?
yeah. And so one of the fittings had broke, and so they gave me a tube of gasket sealer, and I creatively sealed it up where the leak was on the valve.
Why was it leaking?
Because it had rubbed against the drive axle.
Oh!
And it had broke. One of
Okay.
yeah. And so I took some 550 cord and looped it around the big spider
Is
valve.
that a fancy name for army twine?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. And I looped it back around some of the bulkheads in the frame and lifted it back up there.
That was an important way of saying you tied it up to the frame with some string.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it worked.
Okay. And but why did you do? You were in the field, right?
Yeah, it just
Okay.
had to be able to get out of there and go back to the motor pool, and so that they would be able to fix it there. 2 years later, I ended up doing some maintenance on the same fueler. I didn't know at the time until I got underneath it and looked up, and there it was, all the work that I had done 2 years ago.
Oh, behold! Maximum jank.
Yeah.
Okay. It worked for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, someone else is supposed to fix
so
it.
why didn't the Army guys change it?
Because,
Maybe you shouldn't answer that question.
yeah.
Okay.
that's- Yeah.
Hey, other countries that think the Army does things maximum jank, just remember they probably spend all their time on things that go boom and not the pneumatic thing on your truck.
Sometimes.
Okay, that's a good maximum jank. I don't know if I can beat that one. All right, let's continue making the world think we are terrible at everything. Hey, XFNG and Kenny Loggins. What are you guys working on?
Cool things.
Wait, hang on.
Working on all the cool stuff.
Ooh, we'll start with Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you got?
I have a door handle because I'm kind of
Ooh, nice.
trying to figure out all of our door stuff right now. So our windows, our door hinges, and our door latches.
So this is the actual one that came off the car?
Yes, and
Okay.
interestingly, on our prop car, these were 3D printed.
Okay.
This is a pretty simple geometry, so I just copied it into SolidWorks. And
Oh, nice.
have one now, so we can start to modify these and actually mock up some.
There's a 3D printed one. This is your mock-up, right?
Yeah, yep.
So why are you going through the trouble of mocking it up and not using these 3D printed parts?
So one, I didn't want to mess up a part that we didn't have a file of yet.
Oh, I see.
It would suck to like break it and then
Right.
not be able to
and
copy it.
presumably, while this is the same outside design, this is
Right.
one of the few small parts that were later 3D printed rather than an original,
Right.
like out of the mold
Right.
type part.
Yeah.
So it's another good reason to replace it.
And-
But anyway, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, so our idea is to have a door switch where you can actually press in on the smaller side here.
Okay.
And that'll pop the latch.
Can you put your finger in it to pull it out, or you pull it in the mirror maybe?
You just push in and then the door will pop out a bit.
Okay.
You go around the corner of the door and just lift
Okay.
it up and out. And we want that because that allows us to retain the stock Porsche Boxster door latch,
Okay.
which has a switch that.
Do you wanna show us that?
Yeah, I can show you guys that. All right. So, the stock Porsche Boxster latch is operated by a cable on the interior, which we want because we want, obviously, latches on the inside
Yes.
to open the car. We can also lock it using the car's like factory locking system.
That's good.
And that's always nice. And we can modify this for use with a cable.
Yes.
This is the exterior latch. On the stock car, there is a rod here, but we can just get a cable somewhere along here and unlatch the door just by pulling it up just a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So obviously this is the inside of the Lykan door,
Yes.
and this is the inside of the Boxster door.
Yep.
The big difference being that while these are the same doors from the same side of the car, the right,
Yep.
the latch for the Boxster is on the rear and hinges the front, and
Yep.
then vice versa.
So this is the latch off the other side door.
Okay.
Yep.
And the latch, the Boxster or Porsche latches are going to go in the door
Yep.
here
Yep.
on the front.
Exactly.
And we don't have our hinges yet.
Not yet. but
Okay.
They'll be here hopefully this week.
Now let's talk about the window tracks. What do you got to do with them?
Sure. So these have the like angle of the angle on them is okay. The issue is we do not have as much like room to work with in here as we did on
Okay.
the Boxster door. So these are basically too long. The idea that we have right now is trying to take some length off of the tracks actually,
Okay.
and then we can shorten the cables because these are just kind of crimped ends on there.
And these are steel.
Yes, they are.
So we
steel.
could easily precision cut them and then weld them.
Yep,
Okay.
and add strengthening where it's needed as long as it doesn't interfere with the
Okay.
sliders.
I think
Yep.
we can do that.
Yeah,
Okay. And that's what's going on now, huh?
pretty much.
Okay. What is your favorite janky fix from your past that could be considered maximum jank?
This is pretty janky. So I used to have a 65 Oldsmobile, and it didn't have a tachometer stock. But after I installed a nice kind of racy transmission, I thought, hey, I should put a tack in it. But there was no hole on the firewall where I could fit the short wire that came with it from the factory. The other issue was I could not go to a hardware store and get a center punch because I didn't want to spend any more money. I felt kind of drained for the week.
Yeah.
What I did have, though, was a pellet gun. So what I did was I marked roughly where I wanted the hole on my firewall, held the pellet gun up to it, and shot maybe 3-4 times until there was a little hole there. Then I finished the hole off with a drill.
Yeah. Oh.
Then I used a nice little grommet on
Yes.
it, and then had the wire go through
Yes.
that.
I appreciate how American your janky fix
Oh, yeah.
was, sir.
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't sound maximum jank. That just sounds brilliant.
Would have been janky if I didn't use a grommet, probably. Or if I got hit by a pellet.
Hey, Army, we got a better maximum jank fix than you even now.
Oh, wow.
No response.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go on to Ryan. Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Oh. Look at you with that cutoff.
Yeah, it's quite warm in here today, so I figured I would go all out. But yeah, right now I'm working on designing the tail lights here, getting some measurements down to send to the acrylic place so that we can get an estimate on cost for that.
Okay.
That's
for like the red material and plastic?
Yeah, the red, some of the like milky white plastic to
Okay.
disperse the LED light better. And then once I get the prototypes finalized, which I'm also still working on as well, then I can start building the base up from there, sort of in this shape or whatever, from my foam board modeling. And I can use that. Eventually I'm going to build some structures inside of here to separate the red LEDs from the amber for the turn signals. And then it's just a whole bunch of prototyping and some CAD stuff after this, and contacting the companies, making sure that we can get everything cut out right from them. And
I like it. So this drawing here, presumably, is the center area that will be a clear color but reflect an amber for the turn signals, right?
yes, we'll have amber LEDs behind this, but it'll be relatively clear.
And then red on the surround.
Yes.
So earlier you had kind of a funky drawing here. It was just a little off. And how do we go with it back? Because you wanted to measure it a certain way, but it didn't look quite right. How did you make it look as pretty as it does?
Yes. So earlier, this top part was all screwed up, but I kind of like the way that the side was looking. So what you recommended I would do would be to take ratios from the red part to the amber to the red from this side, and then apply that to this top part. And I think it worked out great using the same ratios for the small part down here for up here, and the larger part up here for the larger part up here. And I think it looks great.
Sort of the art of engineering.
Yeah.
And the balance.
Yeah, like the art of design more, and then engineering comes after you have the design
Right.
made. Then I'm taking the measurements from it, and then I'm going to go and put it in
I feel like you initially cringed when I got all artsy on your engineering today.
a little bit, but then I'm just like, I need a little bit more artsy
looks
bits
great.
for design.
Okay, Ryan, what is your favorite janky fix from your past that could be known as a maximum jank?
Maximum jank. That would probably be from my 04 Mazda 3S that I got out of an impound lot for $650.
Okay.
The starter went bad. Replaced the starter. Still didn't crank over. at all, like nothing.
Okay.
So I figured it was something with the ground and the ignition. We didn't want to screw with it. It was winter, it was cold. So we decided that, you know, if you touch terminals on the starter motor,
Yes.
the screwdriver starts right over. So we grabbed some wire and a big old push button and routed that under my hood. So I turned the car to on inside, pop the hood, go outside, push the button. Sort of jank, but that's not the worst part. The worst part is every time I go to get gas, I had to give some throttle input for the car to start. Never figured out why, but that's just how it was. So every time I went to get gas, I would have to wedge my snow brush in between my seat and my gas pedal.
Oh, God.
Pop the hood, start the car, while the car's revving almost to red line, run back in the car,
What?
grab this thing out of there.
That's a lot of throttle input, sir.
Yeah, that was the first time I did it. I got better after that. The next times weren't as bad. It went to about 3,000 RPM, not like grenading the engine. But it was fun.
Okay.
It's pretty jank.
That's pretty janks. Oh, boy. Hey, Lois, camera guy, you got any fixes?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, give me the camera.
There you go.
Oh,
In high school, I had a 1988 Honda Prelude with pop-up headlights.
yes.
And I drove it pretty recklessly sometimes and hit a lot of bumps and curbs that maybe I shouldn't have hit. And so the headlights in the pop-up headlight housing got really loose to the point where they would shake the connectors off of the back of the lights. So the lights would just randomly go out while I was driving, which was not great at night because then it was completely blind. But I figured out that I had some caution construction tape that if I wrapped around the housings themselves and then underneath behind the light, I could hold the connectors onto the back of the lights that way, because you can't just tape it onto the back because the headlights fold up and down, and that motion would still shake it loose when they pop up and down. So you had to wrap it all the way around the outside of the headlight housing, in behind the light mount itself, and then back around the other side. So I had this construction tape on the front of my 88 Prelude pop-up headlights that I had to keep repairing every so often as it got melted.
Okay.
But it worked for what I needed it to do and got me to school. So
There you go. All right, that is some serious jank. Okay, man, you guys and your jank. I don't really know how to respond to all that. Would you like to see my favorite maximum jank fix? I'm very proud of it, like a dad wearing dad shoes. I'll mow the grass later. Come see my jank fix. Yes. I'll show you maximum jank. So if you see our Indy car up on the lift, it's going to be there for a little while. Now, recently, we had fairly torrential rains, and presumably the roof started leaking a little bit, and it came down, and it was leaking right over the Indy car. And it would drip down there, roll down the bodywork, into the pan, collect, and then drip out of the Indy car. And I'm like, come on. And I'm like, we don't put a bucket up there, it looks stupid. But it was leaking right out of where there was a little hook up there. So I just tied some climber rope to it to act like a wick for the water and divert the leaking roof over the Indy car to this bucket, which we can use as quench water if we need it. Yes, maximum jank. Actually, that's a really good fix. I should probably call landlords. Yeah. They should fix the roof. Yeah. We just made like hundreds of thousands of people think we're janky. Oh man. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this day. Really, I wanted to have a little fun with it, with the guys, just to get to know them. And the biggest point about today is not to make everybody think we suck at building cars. We clearly don't. We won a lot of races, built a lot of nice stuff. But just because I would rather relate to all the younger people out there or older people out there that are excited about building your own things to inspire you to get out there and do it. Truthfully, there's no school you can go for to build something just like this or like that. There's schools that will say they will, and you go spend a lot of money to do it. But there's these awesome things out there called libraries and mentors, and there's always just the good old-fashioned American way of learning by doing, which is what I love to do here. And so I hope this has inspired some people to get out there, build, engineer, maybe take up a new career, or build a custom car. So that's really it. But this is going fantastically. Do you guys still think we can hit the track with this and test it in June? Within 4 weeks? Yes. Like doors mounted cage, all the body work on, well. We're getting close. Okay, they think it. So let's see, will this hit the track for testing in June? I guess you'll have to come back and see. Catch you next time, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and naturally that you will subscribe, but please click that bell so I can continue to bring you wholesome and entertaining automotive content. Also, a huge thanks to Avalon King Ceramic Coating. They're supporting this channel and making this all possible. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to using it on all of my vehicles, including my old dirt bike. Ceramic coating bonds directly to the surface of your paint, trim, and plastics to give a long-lasting shine that beats all waxes. It lasts for years and it's easy to maintain. I've got it on my Viper right now, and my car has never looked this good. So give them a try. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to see you next time.